Good evening. The board is back from executive session. Mr. Rowan, is there anything to report?
No, sir.
Okay. With that, please rise for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we ask for your divine guidance and wisdom this evening as we strive to make Colerain Township a better place for all of our residents and improve their quality of life. Please ask your help in giving us all patience with each other tonight, listening to each other's viewpoints. And in this name, and in this we ask in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, approval of minutes. There's one set of minutes that I received in my inbox. It's August 13th. Is that correct, Mrs. Harlow?
Correct.
Has the board had the opportunity to review those minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Any corrections?
No.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Dieters?
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt? Aye. Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll start with police reports. Lieutenant?
Good evening. This is for the month of August. Sheriff's Department had 3 DUI arrests for the month of August. We issued 61 traffic citations. And for the month of August, during the period, there were 56 cases assigned to detectives in the criminal investigation section. 6 were closed. There was $5,450 recovered property from CIS detectives.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Chief Malloy?
If I could, Mr. Dieters, just as an announcement that Lieutenant Neville has been promoted to captain. He's serving as, what's your official role? 4th Division Captain.
My apologies.
But I think, well, it was just recently made official, yes? So, congratulations.
Thank you.
And for the month of August, the Colerain Police Department officers issued 348 citations and made 1 arrest for OVI.
Thanks, Chief. Trustee Ritter?
I have nothing this evening.
Trustee
I have
Renner?
nothing.
Okay. I have a couple of items to mention. Is anyone here from Cincinnati Natural Foods? Okay. They are celebrating their 35th anniversary this year, and the board has decided, along with some other of our businesses who are stalwarts in our community, Stalen's was just honored for 100 years, but 35 years is nothing to sneeze at, obviously. We've decided to do a proclamation, and I think it's fitting because we've got a lot of development going on, but part of what's great about Colerain Township is our standard bearers as far as businesses. So we're having a special event in cooperation with the SPCA, and the board has decided to resolve to give Cincinnati Natural Foods and their business their own day. I'll read the resolution. On behalf of the members of the Colerain Township Board of Trustees, it is our pleasure to recognize Cincinnati Natural Foods, the Vitamin Superstore, a family-owned and operated business since 1978 dedicated to providing products that enhance the health and well-being of our residents. Thank you for your passion in serving your customers and your commitment to our community. Congratulations on your 35th anniversary. On this 10th day of September 2013, the Colerain Township Board of Trustees proclaims October 5th as Cincinnati Natural Foods, SPCA, Adopt a Pet, Pardon a Pooch Day. Best wishes to the Cincinnati Natural Foods family for a long, happy, and successful future. Signed by all the trustees. So congratulations to that business, and for all of those that are interested, October 5th could be a great day. Last note, the township lost an important member last week. Mr. Jim Emerson succumbed to cancer, I believe it was on August 29th. Jim and I had our disagreements, but I can tell you, and I think everyone in the administration, everyone that dealt with him can say unequivocally that he cared about this community, he cared about its children, and he definitely left his imprint on our community. So I wanted to take some time just to at least mention that, we will miss him for his contributions to Colerain Township, Skyline community, and I think it's appropriate that the administration look at a way to recognize Jim, and we'll continue that. So, Mr. Rowan, if you could take ownership of that. He'll be missed. Thank you. Citizens address. First up, actually, I see a number of people that signed in for demolition comments. So if you did that, these addresses are on our public hearing list. You can obviously speak at this portion of the meeting. It's the general public address, but if you want to hold off, there'll be another opportunity to speak relative to the individual addresses that are listed in our agenda for demolition. But first on the list is Gene Smith. Okay? Okay. Shonda Hamblin, did you want to hold off until the hearing? Okay. And Mr. Garrison as well? Okay. Thank you. Kathy Moore?
Kathy Moore. I just had a question. As you're well aware, we had a former trustee had hired some relatives and contracted with a business that he had done business with on his other business. That makes sense. Anyway, I just wanted to ask a couple of questions for the board about if you had any prior relationship with any of some of the people that we have hired, and one of those would be Baird Public Investments. Have you had any personal or prior business with them?
Zero. Can't say that I have.
I have none.
Highland Group,
I have not.
No.
Zero.
and Mr. Barbier's law firm.
I used to work for Mr. Barbier's law firm, but that's why I abstained in the vote to hire him.
Here.
None other than.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Eckhoff, do you want to hold off on till the hearing? Okay. Ms. Smith, would you like to speak now? Last chance.
That way. First, I cannot hear, and I hope everyone can hear me. I unfortunately reside at 2978 Stout Road. I happen to get stuck there. And yes, I have been personally damaged by Rumpke landfill, which has been proven. I have all the documents to do so, but I do not blame this board. I ask that the people of Colerain Township let the past go, deal with the present and the future, as you can never undo the past. You can only go forward. And to go forward, our children are our future. No one has ever looked forward to that. They didn't look 15 years down the road like I did. I also would like to mention that I will endorse Mr. Ritter and Mr. Dieters for re-election. I will actively campaign for them to the best of my ability and to explain to the residents with what Mr. Dieters presented to me today. Hopefully they will be satisfied with that. Because I cannot, and I will speak again, out, I cannot allow Mr. Federley or this other gentleman, who I don't even remember his name, I guess that's why it's so insignificant to me, and that we all work together. This is extremely important. Also, I would like the people of Colerain Township to realize and understand. When I used to come for a visit from Virginia and Tennessee and Washington, the Colerain police were terrible. And Chief Malloy has turned this police department around over 200 degrees, which is a good thing. We are always going to have one or two officers that want to extend their authority. So we must look out for that. And I did once, when they tried to arrest my son over something else, 10 or 15 years ago. We do not want the Sheriff's Department back into Colerain Township, nor another foot into Hamilton County with the Board of Trustees. We do not want that, or with the commissioners. I will fight on that issue, as I have documentation on what they have done personally to try to stop me. This board and this administration has not. They have all been cooperative with me in every way whatsoever. But the people do not understand what is really going on because they don't come to meetings. How many are here? They're listening to it on cable. I don't have it on cable. And I am here to let the people know that I will work with Colerain Township in every way whatsoever. And you, Ms. Dieters, also. And Mr. Ritter. I cannot allow Mr. Federley or the group called Power, as they misrepresented themselves to me, to enter my residence and copy documents that they should not have had. They are not public knowledge. Some were. But when you have a letter to two parties, that is not public knowledge. And yes, I know federal law, but I can't keep up Governor Kasich's laws. That's impossible. And I am prepared to go to Washington. I admit that I worked and campaigned for President Obama. I took him at his word. He has broken his word to me and to the people. So I will go there. I promise you that. And please take into consideration that I'm aware at all times and I follow the chain of command as the law says I should do. I thank all of you, and I will work with all of you if you will allow me to. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. Thanks for coming. New business, Chief Malloy.
Thank you. I have a couple action items and a couple items for information. The first is I'm requesting the Board of Trustees approve the promotion of Reserve Police Officers Nicholas Cifuentes and Victor Alex Napier from the position of Reserve Police Officer to the position of full-time officer. Officer Cifuentes and Napier both accepted a conditional offer of hire pending the final approval of the board. For background's sake, Officer Cifuentes comes from a family of career law enforcement service. He served in the U.S. Army as a member of the 101st Airborne Division and served in the current War on Terror. Officer Cifuentes began his policing career here in the township after graduating from the Great Oaks Academy in 2012. And through August 3 of 13 payroll, Officer Cifuentes has worked more than 2,200 hours in service to the police department. A little bit about Officer Napier. Officer Napier graduated from the University of Cincinnati Claremont College Academy in 2011. He's currently employed as a full-time police officer with another jurisdiction here in Hamilton County. He's recently married and has a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from the University of Cincinnati. And through the August 3rd payroll, he has worked more than 1,700 hours for the township. Today, we received a resignation from one of our full-time police officers, and that resignation is effective September 29th of 2013. I'd request that the Board of Trustees approve Officer Cifuentes as a replacement officer and make his promotion effective Monday, September 30th, 2013. And if approved, Officer Napier's promotion would be effective January 3 of 2014. Each of the officers begin a one-year probation period from the date of their promotion. Starting pay is $47,528.20. Under the current collective bargaining agreement, these officers will not receive annual step increases and are not eligible for received contracted wage increase to the expiration of the most recent contract, which expires in 2016. So I'd ask, I guess, two things. Number one, you would allow for the promotion of Officer Cifuentes effective September 30th, 2013, and then Officer Napier January 3 of 14.
Any discussion?
You mentioned only a single resignation in the department, so this would suggest an incremental position. Would you rationalize that it's backfilling a previous resignation, an expansion of your bandwidth, and if so, why?
The first Officer Cifuentes is a backfill of the officer that resigned today. The initial purpose of the two starting in January is to backfill the loss of the deputies that we lost in May of 2012. It's part of the plan that we approved in 2012 to incrementally bring on a couple officers per year over a period of 5 years.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Peters?
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
The second, we received an anonymous donation in support of the Colerain Township Family Justice Center. Donation is the amount of $1,367, and the donation will be used to pay for, we had an alternate phone line. We had bought business cards, and we've created a flyer and a brochure that we want to get out and put in certain locations and churches and businesses to let people know that the Family Justice Center is open and active. Before you approve, we've been open since August 1st, and sadly enough, it's been very active, but in a good way. It's been very exciting to see all the entities coming together and providing service in one place. for the survivors of family violence. And we had a great meeting with another partner today, and I think they're going to be on board with us to partner with us in the Family Justice Center and provide even greater service to our community and the ones around us. So I ask the board allow me to receive the $1,367.
I'll make the motion.
A second?
Peters?
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
The last two are just information. I'd like to come and tell the board of certain accomplishments. Officer Dustin Weekly recently completed his degree requirements for his associate's degree in criminal justice from the University of Cincinnati. Because of his work schedule and the classes he took, he actually is only, as he's been taking classes, he's only 21 semester hours from attaining his bachelor's degree. So the light is getting very bright in front of him, and he'll complete that probably in the next year. So we're excited for that. And I gave you some numbers on our current, college education, and I think that's important. As it was a strategic planning goal in 2004 that we professionalize and increase the education of our police officers, and it's nice to see them getting involved and taking that active role, because it's, as you know, it's not easy. So Dustin recently completed that, and then I'm really excited to announce a partnership with the Union Institute and University. They were looking for an organization or a community to host a Hamilton County satellite classroom for their university, and we met with representatives. I met with the dean of the college, and we have, needless to say, been accepted, and we have opened up the Union University satellite at our Northgate station. And we currently, because of the benefits of being the satellite, we have 8 police officers in a criminal justice management degree program that is going to challenge them, but they're 8. There's another 4 or 5 folks from around the area that are also attending. So it's good for them all, bringing folks in, but it also is fantastic for our officers to be able to continue to get their education and do it together and do it at a less costly expense. So we're excited about our partnership with the Union Institute and University. So that's all I have.
Thanks, Chief. Mr. Schwartzoff.
Thank you. My first item tonight is to our paving projects for 2013. We had 5 bids. I'd like to ask the board to accept the bid from R.A. Miller in the amount of $365,955.24. The money is in this year's appropriation and includes a $40,000 grant from Hamilton County.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Peters?
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Mr. Schwartzoff provided me with a copy of the contract, which I'll pass down for your signature on the first page there.
Thank you.
My second item is a resolution to petition the county commissioners to vacate an undeveloped piece of Glory Avenue. The map is on the screen. That's Glory Avenue at Impala looking north, and also a picture of Glory Avenue at Washington Avenue looking south. The road never will be developed. We've had a lot of problems there with trespassing and even cars driving through the area. The goal is once we vacate the property, the adjacent property owners will assume responsibility for the property, and then they will maintain the property in the future. Currently, we do mow the property on a weekly basis.
Great. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Peters?
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
My final item is just information. Our annual recycle day will be held at the Administration Complex on Saturday, October 5th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Springer?
Thank you. Requesting approval of a new independent services contract for Linda Lee Snyder, Program Coordinator, $14 an hour, effective 9/11/13. Ms. Snyder had a former contract with us as a sub, which was limited for Council on Aging meals and transportation, and this would give her the Program Coordinator services needed at this time.
Can you describe that a little bit more on what that involves and what the motivation for this is?
Absolutely. The position was no longer being serviced by our former contractor. It is approximately 29 hours a week. She is responsible for overseeing programs on the 50-plus side, as well as Council on Aging grant services.
Perfect, thanks.
You're welcome.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Peters?
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Mills.
Thank you. The first item I have for you this evening is the monthly nuisance abatement resolution. On the screen is the map of this month's nuisance abatements and the chart that we're used to looking at. So I would ask the trustees' consideration of a resolution to abate these nuisances throughout the township.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Dieters?
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Thank you.
Second item I have for you this evening is a request for a public hearing on the demolition of property located at 9748 Stadia. I'd like to set that public hearing for our next trustees meeting on October 8th, 2013 at 6 p.m. Last month, the trustees passed an initial demolition resolution for the property, and this is the next step in the process.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Dieters?
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rowan.
Yes, Mr. Dieters, members of the board, I have two action items this evening. One is to recommend approval of fund transfers in the amount of $75,608 from the general fund to the zoning fund and $73,433 from the general fund to the community center fund. This is a requirement for us to maintain an adequate fund balance. It has been included in the appropriations, and rather than transfer all the money at the beginning of the year, we're doing it throughout the year so that we don't build excess funds up in those extra funds. So I would recommend approval of those two items.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Peters?
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
My second item is a recommend approval of following supplemental appropriations: an increase in the general fund by $99,277.53, our fire fund by $241,729, our police fund by $115,725.81, our permissive tax fund $43,944.04, and our Best Buy TIF fund in the amount of $1,000. The Best Buy TIF fund is a result of property tax collection fees associated with collecting money on that TIF. They were higher than budgeted. The majority of everything else is related to our buyout of the Center for Local Government Health Pool. By exiting that program this year, there was an unfunded liability in the amount of $534,000 roughly. However, through the RFP process last year, when we made the decision to move to the Humana Group, we were going to see $100,000 positive cash flow over a 2-year period, even recognizing that payout of the CLGBP. Plus, we have a real aggressive wellness program underway right now that if we achieve our goal, we'll see another $165,000 savings. So while it is a payout initially, the 2-year return on our investment that will allow us to really consider self-insurance in 2 years will more than pay for this buyout penalty.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
I've prepared the resolution for that, so I'll pass that down for your signature.
Take the roll, Miss.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Aye.
Mr. Dieters?
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
There you go.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Rowan.
You're welcome.
You ready? Board ready? Okay. I'd just like to ask for the board's usual approval of payroll purchase orders and receipts.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Dieters?
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
And this seems to be the evening for liquor permits here from my office. I've received 4 of them. I have spoken with Chief Malloy and Mr. Mills about this, and for all 4 of them, they don't see the need for a hearing. So I will just go ahead and read them for the record. The first is a stock transfer for ARC Entertainment LLC, DBA Tipsy's on Colerain. The second one is a transfer from AFM 29071 Inc., DBA Ameristop Food Mart. The transfer is to In Time Solutions 29071 Inc., DBA Ameristop Food Mart. The next is also a transfer from Pippin Marketing Inc., DBA Northbrook Supermarket, to Northbrook Supermarket LLC, DBA Northbrook Supermarket. The final is a transfer from Cahoots Pub LLC, DBA Cahoots Pub LLC, to Dorman LLC, DBA Cahoots Sports Pub. So we will go ahead and mail all of these back and indicate that we need not have a hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Arno. Okay, the last item on the agenda or items are public hearings for demolitions, or requesting demolitions. Mr. Mills, as a housekeeping measure, they're listed on the agenda. Is that how you want to proceed, or would you prefer to?
There's an order sheet.
Okay. Can I keep this? Okay, correct me if I jump in if I go out of order. The first on the order here is 2895 John Rose. Is there a motion to open the public hearing on 2895 John Rose?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Dieters?
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Mr. Mills?
Thank you. I'll let everyone get settled here. All right. On June 14th, 2013, the fire department declared the structure at 2895 John Rose to be unsafe and insecure. On July 1st, 2013, the trustees adopted Resolution 6913 ordering the demolition of this structure. That was the initial demolition resolution. We contacted the owners and lien holders on this property on August 15th, 2013, published notices in the newspaper on August 21st, 2013. The John Rose is located in the southern part of the township, as you know, just off of Colerain Avenue. Pictures of the property don't exactly do it justice. It's in bad condition. It's been abandoned for quite some time. And Mr. Bowman, is there anything you could add?
Like we said, it's just
Are you on? Could you, there we go, turn on your microphone.
There you
Thanks.
go.
Gotcha.
Thank you. Mr. Eckhoff, you signed in on this property. Did you want to speak? Okay. Anyone else wish to speak relative to the board's decision on this property, 2895 John Rose? Okay. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion by the board?
No. Mr. Dieters?
Hold on.
No, I was calling the roll to close the hearing.
Oh, I apologize.
Mr. Dieters?
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Okay. Now that the public hearing's been closed, thank you, Mrs. Harlow.
Sorry.
No, my apologies. Is there any further discussion after the hearing's been closed?
No.
No. With that, the chair will move that the structure located at 2895 John Rose, Colerain Township, Ohio, be removed in accordance with Ohio Revised Code 505.86. This motion to remove the structure is based upon the following conclusions of fact. The structure was found by the Colerain Township Fire Department to be structurally deteriorating, uninhabitable, unsafe, and insecure in a memorandum dated June 14th, 2013, and based on evidence presented here at today's meeting, the structure remains structurally deteriorating, uninhabitable, unsafe, and insecure.
I'll second.
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Okay, so 2527 Sudbury. Is that right?
Correct.
Is there a motion to open the public hearing relative to 2527 Sudbury?
So moved.
Second?
Dieters?
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Okay.
Mills.
Thank you. At some point before October 5th, a date that Inspector Bowman has at his fingertips, there was a structure fire at this location. Following the structure fire, the Public Health Department condemned the building on October 5th. On May 9th, that was October 5th, 2012. On May 9th, 2013, the Colerain Township Fire Department declared the structure to be unsafe and insecure. Just received the order from Hamilton County Building Department condemning this building. That took place on October 3rd, 2012. On July 1st, 2013, the trustees adopted Resolution 6513, ordering the demolition of the structure. On August 15th, notices were sent to the owner and lien holder. On August 21st, 2013, notices were published in the newspaper. As you can see from these photos and images, there is daylight in the roof. I mean, you can see straight through the structure out to the outside. The neighborhood is a very solid neighborhood. This looks very out of place. The blue tarp blowing off of the structure. It doesn't belong in this neighborhood. Mr. Bowman?
Been out to this property several times. The fire happened on 4/24 of 2012. It's just continued to be open to the elements, continued to deteriorate. It's in a nice, solid neighborhood, and it's bad looking on a small cul-de-sac where people have to go by it every day.
Thank you. Anything further?
No.
Anyone wish to speak relative to 2527 Sudbury? Please. State your name for the record. Thank you.
I am the trustee of the estate. This was my father passed away 5 years ago. A fire occurred. We did not have insurance. We had a dispute on what to do with the house. There was initially, we were going to fix it, and there was just had several offers for people to buy it. Fortunately, it fell through. As a family, we are finally all on the same page to move forward and hopefully repair the property. We have funding from another to help us do that. That was an issue with going forward. I understand that you all have been helped out very much, as much as possible, but I would appreciate a little more. It is my fullest intention to repair it to the best of our ability.
Have you had any discussions with anybody in administration about this at all? You haven't talked to anybody in zoning, Mr. Mills? Well, as we've handled other demolitions, this doesn't mean that they're coming out tomorrow to do this. Mr. Mills, if you want to address the timeline, the board can consider whether or not that's
Absolutely. So, Moving Ohio Forward program, which is providing the funds for all of the demolitions in Colerain Township, requires that demolition occur before December 31st of 2013. In fact, demolition has to occur and we have to pay the contractor before that day. The timeline for this project would be if the trustees were to move ahead with the demolition, we would have a final demolition resolution in October, and then in second week of November would be the earliest that I could have anybody on that property to do the environmental assessment or to bid for the demolition. That's 2 months from right now. What is your timeline for getting it fixed?
I don't. This was a deciding factor on our timeline. Unfortunately, I don't know details as far as how much needs to be done. That is something hopefully I can.
It appears as though a lot needs to be done. It's rare that we find a trifecta, that is the health department condemnation, the building department condemnation, and the fire department all getting together. In fact, this is one of two maybe in the entire township where everybody's saying this is a bad structure. I believe that keeping a structure and a neighborhood intact is the best outcome, if that's a possibility. But I need to know for absolute certain that that is a reality. As I look at these pictures and I look at the inside, it looks as though there's a shell of a building, maybe not much more because of the fire damage. So have you talked to contractors?
My brother is the one who did that, and unfortunately.
Mr. Bowman has had some contact with brother.
I've spoke to your brother and you on this property on several occasions. I'm concerned of what I hear from your brother on what it's going to take to fix this property. I'm not a construction person, but the numbers that he's telling me I'm concerned about. What are you hearing from him about what it's going to cost, and do you have the means of doing that?
He is saying that he would be able, with some help from his friends, contractors, to perform what the necessary, so that would cut down on the labor cost as far as the cost on materials looking at. And I, unfortunately.
And we've been talking about this for about a year and a half, correct?
Absolutely.
I would suggest perhaps the trustees would consider moving ahead with the motion to proceed with the demolition contingent on the health department or the building department lifting their condemnation orders. Because, I mean, if you can get the building into a state that is not condemnable by, say, December 1st, I think that that's reasonable. That should give me the amount of time that I need to take the action, the corrective action that we would take. And that gives you approximately 3 months to get the building into some habitable condition. I mean, it doesn't have to be finishes and wallpaper. It just has to be habitable and not condemnable.
Isn't that how we've done it? We had one earlier in the summer where there was a couple here and they were rehabbing it.
Yeah,
And they actually were successful.
They were. Yeah, it's not
We still passed the resolution, though.
Yes.
Right.
Without conditions.
You did pass it without conditions. We had, but we had established a relationship before, a trusting relationship. That relationship doesn't exist yet because we haven't had a conversation.
Well, let me ask this. If we pass one of these resolutions under the current grant program, the owner has the option to cure and demonstrate that prior to the demolition, do they not? Or is it, you know, I can't foresee us knocking down a completely rebuilt house.
That's right.
And we have another bite at the apple at the final demolition
In a month.
next month. So there's really, you can pull back after the resolution tonight if she's able to, mobilize and get the thing fixed. So.
And it would work with that same timeline if we were to do the final demolition resolution in November, as opposed to in October.
Sure.
Then we
That would help
be
her
able-
too, right?
Then we could see if there is progress being made in November, and then that would give me the month of December to take corrective action if nothing's been done.
Is it your recommendation that the board pass with your recommendation, the board will discuss it with a condition that the health department certification, lift the demolition? I mean,
it would be difficult for me to come up with the correct wording.
we could, but it seems to me that we still have another bite at the apple,
Yes.
even if we pass it as
Exactly.
we normally would.
Maybe we should pass it as.
That's your recommendation?
Yes.
Yes.
So do you understand, we're still passing the resolution tonight to demolish, but it basically just starts the clock ticking, and you still have, 3+ months to get things in order, before we hit that December 31st deadline that we have to demolish it to get the funding.
And I would, excuse me, I'm sorry. And I would strongly recommend making an appointment with my office so that we can sit down and get on the same. Okay.
And should the board pass this, I think that, you will find the administration receptive to the needs of the property, et cetera. Obviously, the board has to weigh that against well-being of the township. But I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak relative to this property? Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Aye.
Reinhardt?
Aye.
Ritter?
Aye.
Any discussion? Okay. With that, the chair will move that the structure located at 2527 Sudbury, Colerain Township, Ohio, be removed in accordance with Ohio Revised Code 50586. This motion to remove the structure is based upon the following findings of fact. The structure was found by the Colerain Township Fire Department to be structurally deteriorating, uninhabitable, unsafe, and insecure in a memorandum dated May 9th, 2013, and based on evidence presented here at today's meeting, the structure remains structurally deteriorating, uninhabitable, unsafe. Is there a second?
Second?
Peters?
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt?
Aye.
Ritter?
Aye.
Thank you. 2180 Miles? Okay. Is there a motion to open the public hearing on 2180 Miles?
So moved?
Second, sorry.
Mr. Dieters.
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt.
Aye.
Mr. Ritter.
Aye.
Anyone wish to speak relative to this property? Sorry. Mr. Mills, you can speak.
Okay, thanks. On June 17th, 2013, the fire department declared the structure at 2180 Miles to be unsafe and insecure. It was condemned by the health department on June 24th, 2013. On July 1st, 2013, the trustees adopted Resolution 6813 ordering the demolition of this structure. On August 15th, 2013, notices were sent to owners and lien holders, and notices published in the newspaper on August 21st. This property is located on the east side of Colerain Township. It's in bad shape, and bringing down the neighborhood. The windows you see here from today's images are boarded up. That wasn't the case several weeks ago when I was out there. It's in terrible condition and be removed. Mr. Bowman?
Again, on June 17th, I was out there. I was also out there today, and it hasn't changed much. Somebody did board up the back, but this house has really been let go. A lot of water damage, it appears, is getting into the house from opening up on the roof, as well as the back windows being gone for a long period of time. It's right on a corner in a nice neighborhood, and it really attracts a lot of negative attention. I also, for the last couple of years, you go through there, it seems like every once in a while kids will get into it. Right now it's secured, but barely. The front windows on the garage have a board here and a board there. It's really an eyesore, and I think it's bringing down that whole neighborhood.
Thank you. No one having volunteered before, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Dieters.
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt.
Aye.
Mr. Ritter.
Aye.
Any discussion?
No.
No. Thank you. The chair will move that the structure located at 2188 Miles, Colerain Township, Ohio, be removed in accordance with ORC 50586. This motion to remove the structure is based upon the following conclusions of the Act. The structure was found by the Colerain Township Fire Department to be structurally deteriorating, uninhabitable, unsafe, and insecure in a memorandum dated June 17, 2013. Based on evidence presented here at today's meeting, the structure remains structurally deteriorating, uninhabitable, unsafe, and is there a second?
Second.
Dieters.
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt.
Aye.
Mr. Ritter.
Aye.
10511 Pippin. Is there a motion to open the public hearing on 10511 Pippin?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Dieters.
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt.
Aye.
Mr. Ritter.
Aye.
Reels.
On May 9th, 2013, the fire department found the structure located at 10511 Pippin to be unsafe and insecure. On July 1st, 2013, the trustees adopted Resolution 6613 ordering the demolition of the structure. On August 15th, 2013, notices were sent to owners and lien holders, and on August 21st, 2013, notice was published in the newspaper. This is a different animal here. This is Lake Gloria. The structures that sit on the property that used to be Lake Gloria have been left to deteriorate and dilapidate, and as we know, there are communities to the north and east of there that are not as stable as we would want, and having vacant, abandoned buildings in this neighborhood is not doing anything for the property values and the stability of that neighborhood. It's my recommendation that the buildings on the property be demolished. It's been left to grow over. The entire 45 or 50 acres of the property have been left to grow over for years, and we've been maintaining it through our nuisance abatement process. Mr. Bowman?
Sorry, that button's killing me. On May 3rd, I found it unsafe and insecure. Since then, it has been boarded up. It's secured right now, but it is deteriorating. And it seems like a playground. You can tell that people are in and out of the property there. There's lots of stuff that would attract children in the neighborhood if they can get through it. The fence it's here and there. It's up and down. And every time I go up there, it looks worse.
Anyone wish to speak relative to this property, 10511 Pippin? Yes, sir.
Harrison. Just recently.
Sorry, your last name, sir?
Harrison.
Harrison.
I was just recently contracted, like, the past few, to sell the property. There were some issues with the ability to convey. That's been corrected. I probably will need to get in contact with you, marketing the property. We've just recently put it on the market within the past 3 weeks, and there is, but to my surprise, there's interest in that structure. Now, one person is looking at the property potentially for development. Another person has not really been forthcoming what they're considering. I'm to be honest with you, I'm not going to worry about the fencing, but the and there's been a little bit of gap. There was another person kind of, I understand, was somewhat caretaking the property. Asked that I kind of step in. Inspector, I'll probably need to back with you regardless of what occurs. But the ownership group, based on my communication of potentially acquiring the property, like to keep that structure in place, but they also are responsible owners. The holder has the property now. They understand the responsibility that comes with property ownership. I'm requesting that give them 30 days or something, correct the concerns, and prove themselves as responsible members of the community, property marketed, revenue.
So, just so we're clear, you represent the owners, or you're an agent for them?
I'm an agent. Real estate, I sign a fiduciary.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, so they asked that I represent them.
Okay.
Who is your client?
I'm not really sure that I left my file at home as the name of the company that owns it. They're the church that usually owns the property. I don't want to get the name.
It's a bank.
It's the bank.
Okay.
Kind of set up a type situation so I can accurate shoot from the here. Left the correct file at office.
I presume we're in the same boat as far as, timeline of this. Definitely, if you need 30 days, you'll get it.
Mm-hmm.
At least that before we come back to discuss a final. Maybe just short of that.
Yeah.
But there's definitely weeks where something's happened. You can talk to me about that off.
Perfect. I want to take cooperation to best market this property.
Sure.
Takes. So I'll call you.
That would be great. Very good.
Inspector, I'll be in touch with you. All right.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for coming tonight. Anyone else wish to speak relative to this property? Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Peters?
Aye.
Reinhardt?
Aye.
Ritter?
Aye.
Any discussion? I will tell you, sir, that the board generally believes in our administration's efforts here to try to clean up the township. So I'm going to make a motion to demolish this property, but we're not beyond working with business owners to try to clean them up. But we're going to trudge forward, and hopefully this isn't the end of it, but that's generally the consensus from our administration. This is a good project. And okay. You will.
Yeah, it's just like the other one. You'll have another bite. Well, there's another bite at the apple before we pass that final demolition, so you can show progress over the next 30 days. And yep.
Sure. Okay. With that, the chair will move that the structure located at 10511 Pippin, Colerain Township, Ohio, be removed in accordance with ORC 50586. This motion to remove the structure is based upon the following conclusions of fact. The structure was found by the Colerain Township Fire Department to be structurally deteriorating, uninhabitable, unsafe, and insecure in a memorandum dated May 9th, 2013. Based upon evidence presented here at today's meeting, the structure remains structurally deteriorating, uninhabitable, unsafe, and insecure. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dieters?
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt? Aye. Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Thank you. Last 12935 Royal Glen. Is there a motion to open the public hearing relative to this property?
Yep.
I'm sorry, 2937. Thank you. Royal Glen. Is there a motion to open?
Second?
Peters?
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Thank you. Finally, this evening, the property located at 2937 Royal Glen was declared by the fire department to be unsafe and insecure on May 24th. 2013. It was condemned by the Health Department on June 6th, 2013. The trustees adopted Resolution 6713, ordering the demolition of this structure on July 1st, 2013. Notices were sent to owners and lien holders August 15th of this year, and on August 21st, notices were published in the newspaper. Royal Glen is located in the southeastern part of the township. This property has sat as it is for quite some time. We have numerous nuisance complaints with this home, and it's been condemned by the Health Department. Mr. Bowman?
I've been out to this house probably 20 times over the last 4 or 5 years. It's been sitting vacant for that whole time. The houses on either side of it are in pretty good shape. There's a couple houses in that neighborhood that are rentals that come up and down. They're vacant, they're occupied, they're vacant, they're occupied. But it's in a tough little area down there, and this is probably the worst one in that whole area. I truly believe we've taken houses down there in the past for abatement, and I believe that this one should be removed. It's bringing down the whole neighborhood, and structurally, it's not very sound.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak relative to 2937 Royal Glen? Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Any discussion?
No.
Chair moves that the structure located at 2937 Royal Glen, Colerain Township, Ohio, be removed in accordance with ORC 50586. The motion to remove is based upon the following findings of fact. Colerain Township Fire Department found the property to be structurally deteriorating, uninhabitable, unsafe, and insecure in a memorandum dated May 24th, 2013. And based on evidence presented here at today's meeting, the structure remains structurally deteriorating, uninhabitable, unsafe, and is there a second?
Second.
Peters?
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye. Thank you.
Mr. Dieters, if I could take just one more second of your time, I'd like to introduce the board to Officer Kyle Frandoni, who is our new code enforcement officer. He spends 20 hours a week on our side of the building, and he's been doing a bang-up job with code enforcement. I've already noticed an uptick in the level of voluntary compliance related, I believe, to the fact that we have an uniformed officer delivering these citations, and so I think it was a very good move, and I appreciate Officer Frandoni's efforts.
Thank you. Any further business before the board?
None.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Aye.
Ms. Reinhardt?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Thanks for coming. Have a good